Booster Course Wave 4 for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is here, and we're checking out all changes and differences made for the returning courses. The third race of the Boomerang Cup is GCN Waluigi Stadium. Built like a motocross arena, this track features bumps and ramps, spinning fire chains and fire bars, Mecha Piranha Plants, and half pipes, with some leading to new platforms, all surrounded by lots and lots of dirt and mud. So how does the most recent update differ from past installments? Let's find out. Likely inspired by Wario Stadium in Mario Kart 64, Waluigi Stadium in Mario Kart Double Dash improved on the idea with proper ramps and obstacles. The course returned for Wii, keeping the same general look, but it introduced half pipes and the satisfaction of tricking off various features. Potentially as part of a renovation for a future Mario Kart Tour appearance, the Switch version boasts heavily modified decor and the addition of 2 optional elevated platforms accessed by using adjacent half pipes. Naturally, many smaller adjustments were made too. Starting with the gameplay changes, we see that the very first bump was shortened for the latest update. Immediately to the left, a new gap between the sponsors and railing makes it possible to fall out of bounds and into the mud pit below. Oh no! 2 short trickable bumps replace the 4 mini bumps with their locations slightly shifted. The off-road to the right at the over-under is thinner now, but the off-road in the left corner was blocked off by the readjusted barrier. By the fire chain, dash panels were removed from the first bump of a set reduced from a triple to a double. All fire chains used to have 8 balls originally, spinning rather quickly. They slowed down for Wii and had only 6 balls. Now they're even slower and no longer have items in the middle. A half pipe appears along the berm turn, first introduced in Wii. But what's new is that the dip before the jump finally allows for tricking, along with the following bump. Tires were replaced to the right too. These are light obstacles that reset their positions about 12 seconds after being hit, but some hide coins. The dash panels on the ramp were reduced from 4 to 2, and the rails were shortened just a bit along the reshaped striped edges. This fire chain used to rotate clockwise for Wii, but now it spins the other way, like it was originally designed. After the leap, we see that the off-road on the right was made to be part of the out-of-bounds area. Meanwhile, tires were placed on the traversable mud on the other side. Turning a bit more, we encounter twin half-pipes encasing a straightaway, with Mecha Piranha Plants and fire bars serving as obstacles. More tires appear along this path. In Double Dash, fire bars alternated with Mecha Piranha Plants, starting with a fire bar that spun counterclockwise, followed by a Mecha Piranha Plant on the left. Each successive obstacle flipped side or rotation, but we inverted it all. For Switch, the first 2 Mecha Piranha Plants are aligned side by side and oriented diagonally. The first fire bar was removed, and the others repositioned to sandwich the final Mecha Piranha Plant that was nudged closer. Both rotate as they did originally. However, there was a glitch that caused a fire bar to spin more quickly if a star or bullet bill touched it, but this effect was gone for Wii. Though this glitch isn't back again, racers won't be burned while idling. Driving over the pipes was difficult in Double Dash, but we allowed for easier traversal. At the same time, items moved to the half pipes. Now, more items than ever appear here and on the ground, while driving over the pipes is even easier than before. Riding the left half pipe at the right angle allowed for wrapping around the turn, but this trick doesn't seem to work anymore. On the other side, a new iron mesh road can be accessed from the right half pipe as an alternate path. It features a ramp at the end that leads to the bumps, called rollers, below. Here, the dip allows for tricking like earlier. Even more tires can be found in this spot. A dash panel was added at the end to the left, just before another half pipe that leads to a second new platform. This one has 2 spin boost pillars and a glide ramp at the end of it. The standard path below was modified to have its edges be more jagged, with tires in the off-road mud. This was a smoother curve originally, with a mound at the final turn that was removed for the Wii version. The ramp over the gap had 6 dash panels, but this was reduced to 4 in Wii. It now has none. More easily seen from below, the angle of this ramp also changed, preventing backtracking. The final fire chain rotates the same direction as in the original, countering Wii's reversal. Just before the finish line, the gaps between the railing and banners on both sides, which used to overlap, allow for leaping into the pits below. Yikes! The aesthetic changes are quite numerous too. Even the course icon shows the Jumbotron in the wrong position now. That doesn't apply during actual racing, but what does is the minimap's addition of the muddy off-road cut, the new platforms, and other features. Looking at the course itself, we see that the sky turned from sunset to night, with an MKTV helicopter hovering above. The Jumbotron originally was in standard definition, with the base and Waluigi TV logo barely visible. For Wii, this was redesigned to feature a widescreen display with the base showing a Nintendo logo in plain view. Now the Jumbotron is entirely reimagined with a live feed from MKTV, changing Waluigi Kart to Waluigi Stadium, with an attached leaderboard, speakers, and only one image of Waluigi's face. fewer faces show overall, like how the grandstands were modified entirely, ditching the face panels, sorry kitty, in favor for sponsors in a purple and yellow trim on top, with fewer stadium lights. There are exits now, so Waluigi can't hold everyone hostage anymore. The captive audience originally consisted of Toads and several of Bowser's minions, as well as Donkey Kong Jr. and Toadsworth clones. Sadly, the latter two, along with Purple Sniffets, were kicked out, replaced with Blue Shy Guys, Monty Moles, and Light Blue Birdos, the likely inspiration behind the driver in Mario Kart Tour and now Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Birdos, Goombas, Hammer Brothers, and Boos no longer can be seen in the grandstands. Instead, Koopas arrived, and all remaining crowd members were given pen lights, glow sticks used in Japan for events. Along the track for the GameCube version, 2 red anthropomorphic chevron signs were placed at each turn. These became green for Wii, with many spread apart and some pairs losing their twins. But more facelessness was afoot, since all chevron signs have been chased out. Sad face. The Mario Kart sponsor for all trackside banners switched to a Nintendo sponsor for Wii, but all sponsors now are the game standard. Wii added tire tracks at certain half-pipes and bends, but they're gone now, much like the star patterns for out-of-bounds areas. While it's no consolation, the entire road now has a wet sheen. It's time to check out the pole position, where the gate was remade from metal framework and purple checks to a flashy purple structure with neon and a different multicolor effect on the classic logo. The starting line switched from 21x4 in purple and white to 19x3 in purple and yellow, flat to the ground, with a new starting grid. Alternating trim lines the banners on the top and bottom. The rails were made green, and the part before the bridge was cut to transition to a packed mud barrier, which continues on to prop up the sponsors ahead. A new Morton construction sign is seen at the first turn, and then a neon light under the bridge, followed by a safety cone to the right. Directly to the right of the fire chain is an added red shell strike equipment sign, with a sponsor tower amidst tires positioned ahead. The trackside banners on the right before the jump were cut at the tires, with dark mud continuing the edge. A yellow and blue Mario Kart sign and more safety cones lie above. The top of the bridge was redesigned, while the barriers, now exclusive to ramps, were cut short. While airborne, we see an excavator, dump truck, and another safety cone to the right. Packed mud barriers replaced the rails on this side for now, while the rails on the left became partially buried. The mud shortcut below used to produce a muddy splash, but it seemed cleaner in Wii. It now is very muddy and matches other off-road mud. Just around the bend, drivers are graced with Roy's smooth sounds. Quite a bit can be found in the section with Mecha Piranha Plants, which are metallic and muddy now, no longer biting or leaving groove marks in the mud. A boom lift rests just before the first pair, and another dump truck before the last, with many tires lining both sides. Firebar arms originally had 3 segments, which increased to 4 in Wii. They have 3 again now, but they don't have faces or leaf burn marks anymore. The set of sponsors above the platform seems shorter, and the rails resume after the new gap, with 2 sets overlapping now by more safety cones. Meanwhile, the railing on the left continues after the underpass, and mud ceases to cover it for the remainder of the route. The strange wall behavior on the left by the final half-pipe was corrected, with even more tires in the back. Trackside banners resume after another incongruent wall correction, but they overlap with the rail now. They're cut off considerably early to resume the railing, once again overlapping at the transition. Nearby, more dump trucks and another excavator are parked by the grandstands. On the right side, the railing is at ground level now, with BBIA and Shy Guy Metals signs above. Rails on both sides stop early, with the left having a short strip of sponsors behind it. Mud barriers overlap and continue to the top of the ramp, where a neon arrow and safety cones were added to the left. Ramp barriers are seen only at the edges, with a new caution strip between them, much like the other side of the jump. Here, the railing resumes, at least until that one gap. As an interesting auditory change, the audience reactions have differed throughout the games. Originally, the crowd would moan when the player was hit, but ever since Wii, tricks are met with cheering instead. At least the audience has varied cheers now. It's good to hear support from fans. We also love hearing the music for the course. It's a bouncy ska, much like the Double Dash title theme. Shared with Wario Coliseum, the original composition, also used in Wii, features an organ-trumpet combination lead, alternating with baritone sax amidst consistent drums. The B section unifies all 3 instruments, with some more pronounced than others at times. After revisiting the A section, the organ leads the C section with a flanging synth playing along each chord before returning to the intro. Throughout the piece is a horn or kazoo-like accent, which is only present in this version. fun! The arrangement has many little accents and tweaks, like the organ chord hits in the intro, a more pronounced trumpet lead, and sax harmony in the A and C sections at decisive moments. Tom drums fill the B section to mix things up. Synth leads the C section this time, while its former role is now played by dual trumpets. It all loops back to the A section rather than the intro. Now that sounds like a racing party. And that's about it for all changes we found in GCN Waluigi Stadium. It's great to see a classic Double Dash track return with a lot of love put into the redesign, offering new options with the addition of the elevated mesh platforms. But what do you think? Have you found any notable changes that we missed? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Booster Course Wave 4 for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and other things Nintendo too. Thanks for watching. Until next time, ciao.